what it is. Nightlife YouTubing. Nightlife YouTubing. On my end, anyway, almost 20 minutes to 9 in the evening time. Out here with another groundbreaking, motivational, moving topic that needs to be brought to the forefront. In life, I'm pretty sure you've heard different scenarios where a person has experienced a common term, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and it applies to a lot of different elements now. Primarily, I think more or less, if you ever heard that, it was someone who had been military affiliated, maybe came from live action in the military, potentially in a wartime situation. Some of our brave men and women who served came back with these conditions, and it kind of took the world by storm because it was being diagnosed under this new term, PTSD. Then it kind of started broadening into being applicable in our brave men and women who served as firefighters, policemen. Basically any tragic situation could occur, and that could be in any line of work where you experience, a traumatic event, and the effects of it afterwards were, PTSD related and diagnosed. And so I'm not going to say it became common, but it became more known as being something that was post-traumatic. It didn't affect you right at the moment. Maybe it did affect you right at the moment, but whatever occurred during that time period later on, it gave you some type of difficulty in just, functioning and doing your everyday, run-of-the-mill life or lifestyle and or living. So PTSD started becoming, just more of a headline front, in your face type term. And the good thing about it was, because it became more of a commonly used term, people started coming to the forefront more, and it started getting people help that needed it when they didn't know exactly what was wrong before and didn't really have a way to describe what was going on with them. So PTSD started being something that could be diagnosed because people were coming forward a little more about it. But as good as that is, or as good as that was, another underlying form of PTSD was not so much given the attention that it needed, and did require a lot more attention to be given to it for it to be diagnosed. But it was a little more, I don't want to call it embarrassing, but it was a little more taboo of a subject, but still gave equally as traumatic, symptoms from horrifying acts. And it is MST. Our brave men and women, although diagnosed in one sense, it might have been a little more common with our female soldiers to encounter MST, which is military sexual trauma. It's kind of sensitive for me to talk about because it directly affected somebody that I actually care about, and I actually have a great deal of respect and feelings for. But if it wasn't for her saying something and giving really all of the relevance to the reason why I come on and say the things that I say when I say them, and talk as comfortably as I do, this kind of gave everything a lot more merit. Just hearing her tell me, I think you'd be fine talking about this. This is something that you should talk about, and it might not be getting the attention it needs. Who better than you to say it? Damn it, the job has just been, I'm hired. I'll hire myself to do it. MST, military sexual trauma, is a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. So PTSD is not simply seeing something horrific. It's actually in being confronted, encountered, and experiencing sexual advances, a higher form of sexual harassment in the military. You know, of course, we are honored to have everybody who's willing to come forth and provide service to help keep this country safe. But damn it, if they're going through being harassed on the military side to where others with higher rank are putting them in a position where they feel cornered to provide any type of sexual favors against their will, it should be brought to the forefront. And if you actually had to go through it and follow through with it, as degrading as it is, ladies and men have to come forward. And you have to make this known, because that's the only way you're going to give strength to the numbers to feel comfortable saying this is wrong. I don't care what it costs. I don't care who's going to be reprimanded or stripped of rank, restricted, or straight kicked out of the military. I don't care about that. What I do care about is, if I went through this, it won't go any further than me. I will be the sacrificial lamb to say, yeah, this happened to me, it's wrong, and this is the person who did it. They should be punished as a result, and this should not happen again. You know, when you start talking about making a big deal about how you feel, sometimes in the military, that's like frowned upon. It's like, why you being so soft? Or why are you making such a big deal? Or why are you making this more than what it should be? You didn't go through this. I did. You didn't encounter this. I did. So if your workplace is in the military, that just happens to be your profession. That just happens to be the career, your career choice. You're in the military. It's no different than if it is, in an office space. It doesn't matter. If you're in customer service, if you're in sales, if you're in, whatever your profession is, you should be able to comfortably do your job without somebody harassing you or making you feel uncomfortable in doing it. I had, a close friend deal with something like that, and it really did put her at odds as to whether or not I can simply, turn this over to the proper people to deal with it, or I need to, actually be an activist to fight against this. Yes, this may cost me my job. Yes, this job is, financially benefiting me and my family, but now I'm at odds as to whether or not, if I say something, if I make this stance, this is going to, affect me and everybody give me the, the dirty looks. And, I get this reputation for being not just a whistleblower, but a trouble starter, or whatever have you. But you can't turn the other cheek in that regard, because it just continually goes on. It continually goes on unanswered. These people's acts go unaccounted for. These injustices go unjustified. No one does anything about it because, you're trying to keep the peace by keeping quiet. You can't do that. You can't do that. Apologetically, everybody who's trying to do everything the right way and, try to be right about going, making a complaint. Yeah, you're gonna have to disrupt this seemingly happy, seemingly functional setting by telling some unsettling, unharmony. There's no harmony here. It's not as cool as you think. Everybody's not happy. Everybody's not cool. Okay, I have to let you all know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you think everything is all hunky-dory. It's so not hunky-dory, and I'm probably going to raise a whole lot of fuss if nothing's done about it. But I'm going to let it be known, and I'm not going to let this go on. That's the stance someone is going to force you to have to take. If you experience, sexual harassment in the workplace, post-traumatic stress disorder by way of MST, you have to, unfortunately, it's thrown upon you. It's a burden given to you that you probably don't want. You'd rather not do. But, how would you feel if somebody else could share that story because it happened to them, because you let it happen to you? How could you look yourself in the face knowing that you permitted something to happen to somebody else that happened to you? If you felt that way, you can You can imagine. You can relate to how they feel. But you didn't do anything about it. Are they going to do anything about it? Or the two of you going to collaborate and do anything about it? Who knows? But the buck stops with confronting those people who feel my rank, my position, my name, my title gives me the authority to take advantage of you. Absolutely something should be said. Absolutely something should be done. There, you know, you can't imagine how many times that somebody probably shares internally with people they know, but won't go to the step to go to their HR department, you know, or go to their liaison, you know, or go to simply a friend, even if it has to be said anonymously. You know, when it gets down to it and you see something, you know, the wheels of emotion, well, then you come to the forefront and just say, hey, yeah, I said it in confidence. Now I'm ready to say it public. You know, I'm being taken advantage of. My rights are being violated. I'm being violated. You know? And when you don't do something or nothing is being done, then, you know, how could it not be post-traumatic? Because now, after this is all over with, after I've been ridiculed, after I've been embarrassed, after I've been shamed, now I'm supposed to just, go on with my life? Or go on like this didn't happen? Or go on like it was no big deal? And who's to say that person won't now make it a habit of doing so, being that I didn't do anything about it to stop it in the first place? So, how can you really just let it go? How can you ever just let it go? And anybody who's kind of trying to get you to let it go, I'm pretty sure it's more beneficial for them that you do than it is for you. You know, you have to look at that person every day and you probably relive the actions over and over and over. That's got to be traumatic. That's got to be the freaking definition of post-traumatic. But here it is every day. Here's this person now smiling at you, you know, shaking your hand, you know, with thoughts in their head that, yeah, that's the one I got with. That's the one I, had her do these crazy acts for me. This is the one I got, you know, on a string, you know. I let her know she's up for a promotion or she's up for a recommendation as long as she keep playing ball, as long as she keep doing what she's asked and doing what she's told. Behind closed doors and in public. How far is your career really worth you going, knowing that you have to, you know, defraud your whole reputation to get it? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It shouldn't be asked of you. It's totally 110% wrong. And you're well within your rights and well within the limits of saying something. And there's always supposed to be a regularly visited step-by-step process if you encounter certain types of, you know, unwanted advances and harassment in the workplace. The military is no exception. So it may be a term that you're not familiar with in hearing MST, you know, with the military sexual trauma, but the feeling is no different whether you're in uniform or you're in civvies. You shouldn't have to be in an unsafe work environment. You should not have to be in, you know, harassing conditions by anybody, man or woman, at any point in time. If you do, you have to be the one to stop what's going on and say something to anybody who, you know, can do something about that person, their advances, and now what has become an unsafe work environment. You know, I wish I had hotline numbers, 800 numbers, and things of that sort if you're going through anything like that. But rest assured, if anybody's seeing this message and anybody believes that they might be under the guidelines or under the umbrella of anything that I'm talking about, I'll get them. I'll get them for you to use. Not now, right now. So, like I said, this was not just something that was on my mind. It was something that I learned. And because it was such a, you know, a strong ongoing situation that I was unaware of. I kind of felt bad that, you know, this is not something that I'm already talking about. This is not something that I'm bringing to the forefront. But to have it come from somebody that I'm cool with, as cool as I am with that person, yeah, I didn't come right out because, you know, we probably talked about it maybe a couple of days ago, and I'm like, let me get into some knowledge. Let me read up on this a little bit. Let me see exactly what's going on here, you know, because if I'm unskilled, then I can't come on here and act, sound like I am. But specifically, like I said, when you talk about military sex trauma, it's verified. It's, you know, it's information that you can go on and look up. But if you don't input MST, you get post-traumatic stress disorder. And of course, it immediately goes to talking about horrific acts, including violence or, you know, catastrophic incidents that you were witness to, heard about, you know, experienced directly or indirectly. But military sexual trauma, because it is a form of sexual harassment, of course it talks about, you know, it's given the military term because during active duty, during training, you know, these are times when you're specifically talking about your military affiliation and going through sexual harassment in a military setting. You know, it's not the same as being in an office. It's just the common denominator is the person that might be giving you the harassment or harassing you in the workplace. That might be similar. It's not similar when you know, you have to also put your life on the line and have to deal with these things. It's not the same. You know, it's not the same. If anything, it should be given, I don't know, maybe a couple of more degrees of severity because it is requiring you to be in such conditions and dealing with certain conditions and putting your life on the line and the lives of others. So hell yeah, you definitely want to get up close and personal. If somebody's doggone harassing people that need to be protecting us, you got to get your mind in order. How the hell am I supposed to function? And this dude over here trying to get me to do something that ain't got shit to do with what I'm supposed to be doing. I got a job to do, and you over here thinking selfishly about some stupid childish act because you somehow or another got put up in a place of authority, and you ain't got your freaking mind right. I belong here because I got a job to do, and I know that you don't because you're not taking that into account, and you wouldn't be asking me or trying to get me to do anything other than perform my job to the highest level that I can. And fuck your stupid sexual acts and advances. Get out my face. And that's your first warning. Anything after that absolutely should be ran up the freaking chain. And I don't give a shit if you get busted down to boot fucking private. I can't think of a better place for you except out of my damn military. So, I mean, you know, it pisses me off. You know, I'm a Marine. I don't make no, you know, I don't hide that from anybody. Matter of fact, if you meet me, you probably would know that. You know, I was born a Marine. I got enlisted later. We were Green Marines. If you were white, you were a light green Marine. If you were black, you were a dark green Marine. You were colored green, period. Straight across the board, ain't no room for no dog harassment based on race. That's out. That's out. If you were a female, you were a female Green Marine. And that's it. That is as far as gender and race and sex and whatever else. There was no more distinction except the fact that your color was one, light or dark, and you were a female Marine or you were just a Marine. That was it. Cut and dry. You know, that doesn't make us no better or no worse, and it's probably the same in every other branch. However they, you know, made it sound for Army or Air Force or sailors or whatever have you. But damn it, we are the freaking force and we have to be united. And we're supposed to be held to a certain stigma. We're supposed to be held on a higher level. But damn it, you still have people who are freaking just disgusting. Just disgusting. And somehow or another they get through the cracks, or they portray the role enough to where everybody turns their backs and don't pay no more attention to them. Meanwhile, they still got some of them dirtbag civilian qualities that they bring into our Marine Corps or our Army or our Air Force or our Navy, and they forget about the fact that they're held to these standards and go way below them. And they're not getting booted out like they should be. They're not getting weeded out like they should be. They're stress card freaking weaklings. We need people that's going to come in here and do the job of the United States military. And these guys are bodies, they're there. Minds, they are not. They're in best shape physically, worst shape mentally, and they're in here and they're the freaking rats, mold, the dirt that's snuck up into the military and making it so much freaking worse. It can't be the force it needs to be because of individuals like these that are coming in and portraying the role of the United States military. And they're decaying us from the inside out. And we need to get them out. That's what we should want. We should want them out based on that alone. You can't freaking serve with me if you ain't got your mind in the right place. We need them out. We need people like that out. We need people who harp on others out. We need people trying to prey on others out. If you are the perpetrator against somebody and you're trying to force them to do anything to cause them any type of post or present stress disorder, sexually or in any other type of way, we need to get them out. And it should be a unified group effort. So to my male military, female military, if these unwanted advances are happening in your workplace or on your base or your duty station or in your training class, make sure you blow the whistle on getting these freaking dirt bags out of our freaking military so we can doggone rise to the level that we need to be. And get these perpetrators who's just trying to wear the uniform or get the pay or get the freaking education, get their ass out the way so we can get ready for anything that's coming, whether it be on land, air, or sea. Because that's what we're supposed to be prepared to do. At all times. At all times. Rid our military of people who are harassing others and sexually harassing others. We don't need that. We don't need that. Our military needs to be the strong front force that has always been and should continue to be. And if they ain't fighting for that, they shouldn't be fighting for us. Make it your fight to make everything one mission that's supposed to be.